Hi dear students, how are you all? Hope all are keeping fine. We are learning Unit 2 Self-Management Skills. We already covered the first session and the second session, that is self-management and the positive effects of self-management. Next session is self-management skills. Self-management skills help individuals more productive in their personal as well as professional lives. These skills also help to reduce stress and become more confident. Some self-management skills are stress management, time management, decision making, organizing skills, and physical awareness. Let us see in detail. Stress management. It is an individual's ability to control and manage any difficult and hard situation. It helps him in improving both physical as well as mental health. We already discussed about the stress management. We could not remove stress, we can reduce stress. And not only our physical health, mental health is equally important. That is, we can reduce or control by different methods like meditation and all. Next one is time management. It is a process of planning and scheduling time among different tasks in order to maximize the productivity of an individual. The main objective of time management is to get more work done in lesser period of time with little or no stress at all. So when we face stress situations, it will affect our time management. So what we have to do? We have to plan the different tasks in order of their priorities and need to schedule time. Next one is decision making. It is a process of making decisions between two or more things and actions. It requires the knowledge and information to analyze the situation, to identify all the options and possibilities to achieve a specified goal. We should take any decision after a careful study and analysis of facts. The decision-making capability makes us more confident. So what do you mean by decision-making? We know that we have to make decision when we have one or more problems to solve. When we face a problem, different options are there. That time the decision making is having a important. So which one need to take? So what we have to do? We must have a careful study of the different options, and from there we need to choose the desired one, the best one. Like that, when we decide, it will be improve or it will help to become more confident, and thereby we can stick to our decisions. Next skill is organizing skills. It is the combination of planning, prioritizing, motivation and time management. It helps the individual to develop timetable, arrange tasks, improve efficiency and set priorities. It helps an individual to attain objectives within set period of time and reduces the chances of miscommunication. And the function of organizing is different for different objectives and goals. Organizing skill is a quality of good leadership. Organize many things by planning with different proper timetable, arrange a task, improve efficiency, etc. It helps an individual to do things systematically. Next and the last one is physical awareness. It helps an individual to increase his level of physical activity in order to improve his physical health, to make him more productive and to boost the power of body and mind. Physical awareness. We know that One who is physically healthy will be more confident. So that time, if we are physically healthy, then that time we think that we can achieve or we can face difficult situations. One who is physically healthy, they can face the difficult situations in their life with more confidence. Let us watch a video.
You're more than familiar with stress. Whether it's finances, academic strain, or pressure from family, friends, and peers, you're not alone. Here's how to deal with stress as a student. Over the years. While stress can be varied, including physical stressors like intense training or an illness, we'll be focusing on mental stressors that students face in day-to-day life. Academic stress is likely what you're most familiar with. This includes needing to learn and memorize large quantities of information, meet deadlines with projects or assignments, and of course, the stress of upcoming exams and maintaining good grades. Social stress includes peer pressure, the stress of new relationships, whether platonic or romantic, balancing your academics with social life, and adjusting to your new environment. After all, you may not yet be fully adjusted to living on your own without your family. Stress of daily life includes other factors like financial burdens, your daily commute, or balancing a part-time job. I don't believe there's a single best way to manage stress in all situations. There are a few foundations to focus on, and then a few targeted techniques depending on the specifics of the stressor. Let's start with the foundations. On a foundational level, you want to begin by focusing on organization. If you're enrolled in 4 classes, each of which has various assignments and test dates, it can quickly become overwhelming. By simply taking the time to get organized, such as putting class times in your calendar, including exam times and assignment due dates, you'll greatly reduce the sense of dread, chaos, and uncertainty you feel when approaching your academics. Organization extends to other aspects of your life too, like time management. Rather than approaching each day as a blank slate and then doing what you feel like when you feel like, try time blocking. During those hours when you know you'll be more focused and more productive, plan on setting aside a few hours for more intense and focused work or studying. During the hours when you know focusing will be difficult, block out time to get a workout in, or do laundry, or grab groceries. Staying organized in this way will also ward off procrastination, one of the most common and insidious stressors amongst students. And it mitigates the issues of balancing social stressors with academic stressors. If you know when to study and when to hang out with friends, you won't have to make the decision each time a social opportunity presents itself. In college, I was definitely more of a night owl. For that reason, I would roll out of bed around 8 or 9 a.m., go to lecture, and after classes, my brain would feel cooked, so I'd work out in the afternoon, then go home and eat. After cleaning up my dishes, this was the time I felt I could most effectively focus and get work done. In medical school, I became more of an early riser, and my schedule flipped. My best and focused work was in the mornings, and I stopped studying in the evenings. Don't be afraid to experiment, and try a new schedule out for a few days to see how it feels. Transitioning from night owl to early bird is common as one ages. On a foundational level, you should also know that exercise is a phenomenal way to let off steam, rather than bottling it up inside you. Loneliness is also an insidious factor that can exacerbate stress. Maintaining healthy social support and connections with friends is beneficial, so long as you don't overdo it and neglect other academic and personal responsibilities. As for the targeted strategies, my recommendations depend on the magnitude of the stressor and whether or not you feel the situation is manageable. When feeling overwhelmed or out of control, 2 things have proven most useful to me. First, slow, deep breathing, and second, mindful observation. The deep breathing helps to activate the parasympathetic nervous system, which is responsible for rest and digest functions. This counteracts the overactive sympathetic nervous system, responsible for the fight or flight response that gets activated in stressful situations. I learned the power of mindfulness when I was battling my first acute flare of inflammatory bowel disease at 18. The pain was intense and excruciating, and I didn't know how to manage it. I tried distracting myself by playing Tetris, thinking that would occupy my mind, but it didn't do much. I was constantly fearful of the next bout of pain, but a subtle mental shift made it completely manageable. Rather than rejecting the pain and wanting to run away and avoid it, I just watched it. I noticed where it occurred, how it felt, and what made it better or worse. Rather than approaching it with fear, I approached it with curiosity. By accepting that the pain was here and simply watching it, the emotional hold it had on me vanished. It still wasn't pleasant, but my stress during the pain decreased, and the stress between bouts of pain had disappeared. You can use this same technique of mindful observation any other time you feel overwhelmed. The next time you feel stressed, observe the bodily response. Do you feel tightness in your abdomen? Is your heart racing? By watching with curiosity, you may also find it easier to separate yourself from the emotional hold of the stressful situation. In my experience, the situation becomes instantly more manageable. Whenever I sat down for a test, I always did better than what my practice questions would indicate. How? It all comes down to self-talk. When approached by a stressful situation, what dialogue occurs in your head? When focusing on the idea of having to cycle 100 miles for my first century, which was incredibly intimidating at the beginning of the ride, I just focused on writing one more mile, and then another mile after that. Or let's say you're taking on a big new project at school, or you want to start your first side hustle. Don't look at the final goal, then see where you're at and feel defeated. Instead, ask yourself, what is one step I can take today that will bring me closer to that goal? And what about the day after that?
So that's end of this unit, session 3, self-management skills. Thank you. Have a nice day.